The humanity. You seen this? Max Verstappen got a 5-second penalty as we are T minus 28 minutes away from a rain-soaked qualifying session. Oh my goodness. You know, sometimes the F1 gods give F and they take F away, eh? This is chaos. I can't remember feeling this invigorated about Formula One, but Max Verstappen fans, one of which I am, are absolutely fuming. 5 seconds. Virtual safety car timing botch, 30 seconds between the time when Hulkenberg dismounts the vehicle and the time when they call it. But of course, that's due to the fact that Interlagos is a massive track and they couldn't get stewards down to there on time. But it looks and it feels and it smells a little bit like a rat. You remember Max Verstappen and father of Max Verstappen, Jos, have been talking about British bias as far as the stewardship. They're selecting of the stewards. Johnny Herbert's the only steward to stay on between the Mexican Grand Prix. And this one, oh, it is raining heavily, David. It's raining heavily. Look, the F1 gods giveth and they taketh away. Look, Max Verstappen, 2016 around here. One of the go-to drives that you've ever seen in your life. Reminiscent of Ayrton Senna at 1993 in Donington. If it's as wet as it looks like now, and it's dark and it's nighttime, you're gonna have to go. I know that McLaren is super quick, that it is super aerodynamically efficient, meaning therefore that it's got a lot of points of downforce and it doesn't have a lot of drag. It doesn't lose a lot on straights. We see that because 329 kilometers per hour on the straights. Yeah, and still in the hands of Piastri and Norris. It's super quick through the twisty bits, isn't it? It's going to get techie, ladies and gentlemen, unless we forget ads are on, Genie. Oh, Genie. This is chaos. I'm going to keep them. Am I going to keep them on? No, I'll turn them off. I'm keeping an eye on it, Genie, though. If nobody comes in, if it doesn't lead to an uptick in viewers, ads are back in. Do you know what I mean, Genie? Cameron D, this is good. Sim, I'm telling you. I'm looking in the background of the F1, the Sky Sports F1 lot. And it's, oh my gosh, the rain is raining properly. Matt says he's informed he's a bit above the yellow flag speed and tried to slow down a bit. You can see he broke hard. Yeah, well, the thing is about the virtual safety car is that there's a delta on your dashboard, on your steering wheel even. And if you go above that by a certain point at the track, then you will get a 5-second penalty. And I'm guessing, I haven't read the minutiae nor the official FIA statement, but I'm guessing that potentially, I don't really want to see Ted Kravitz in an F1 car. I'm not on it. I want to go back and I want to watch the sprint again, and I want to dissect for the virtual safety car incident, the timing of the virtual safety car. Were they delayed? During that delay, is that when McLaren did the switcheroo? Because Max Verstappen fans around the world are fuming, saying that it looks and smells and feels like persecution. It's going to get techie. Chat, shall we get up? Let me get Lando Norris fans and naysayers fuming as well. People saying that Lando Norris can't win anything without the help of Oscar Piastri and or the regulatory body that is the FIA. Oh, the humanity. Ladies and gents, it's getting too chaotic at the moment. I can't remember being this excited. But it's like this, though. Can we take a second to take a step back to see the wood? The F1 wood for the F1 trees. Like, do you know what I mean? Where's the FIA statement? I need to see the FIA statement is what I need to see. Oh, the humanity is so chaotic. I mean, demoted to 4th, yeah. Okay, so that 5 seconds, by the way, again, table settings, as we're 23 minutes away from a cheeky qualifying session, proper qualifying for the race. 25 points, all the marbles. The infringement was, of course, because of the virtual safety car that Max Verstappen started to encroach upon one Oscar Piastri prior to virtual safety car. And you can see by the time he gets alongside Oscar Piastri, there is still a virtual safety car. So what Max has tried to do is what Carlos Sainz did to Checo Perez so many moons ago. You know, you try and time the end of the virtual safety car. So you have yourself a plus split and then get ahead of speed with a view to optimise for momentum and nail the chap in front with said momentum. Do a cheeky tax avoidance. Queen's sacrifice declined as far as the way that you've handled your virtue safety car. So I understand what I understand what Max was trying to do, but per the rules instituted by a very dodgy set of stewards, Article 36.5 states, in part, all cars must also be above this minimum. Okay, so let's read them out from start. Bloody Nora. This is so techie. I can't remember the date. Listen, I feel like the last time it got techie like this was at Brazil 2021, eh? This is how it's techie. Okay, so after the race, Verstappen was noted for a potential rules breach under virtual safety conditions related to staying above the minimum time set out by the FIA, with the stewards deciding that he should be penalised. And again, this is where it got techie, right? Because Max Verstappen was arguing that Oscar Piastri needs to push up, stop defending him, so like keep a closer lap time delta to his teammate Lando Norris, that it was skullduggery even. After their investigation, the stewarding panel handed Max Verstappen a 5-second penalty, meaning he drops to fourth behind Charles Leclerc. 45 points was the delta, 44 points is the delta now. Oh, the humanity. 44 points is the difference with 4 races remaining. It feels techie, doesn't it? I heard somebody on a podcast say it feels like we've been reaching, we've been almost trying to believe that this is a close F1 championship. It doesn't need to be close. That it just needs to feel like it is, right? And who knows who's going to win this race, even at the Brazilian Grand Prix? Who's going to win it, really? How do you know? Okay, we'll get the odds up in a minute and we can talk about that in real time because it's going to get techie. After their investigation, however, the stewarding panel handed Max Verstappen a 5-second penalty, meaning he drops to fourth behind Leclerc and loses another point to title rival Lando Norris. The Dutchman now leading by 44 points. Wow. He was also handed a penalty on his racing license, a penalty point on his racing license, taking him to 7 points in the current 12-month period. In their decision document, the stewards explained the stewards heard from the driver of car number 1, Max Verstappen, team representative, and reviewed positioning, marshalling system data, timing, telemetry, and evidence. Article 56.5 states, in part. I don't know why they use these stupid... just it is or it isn't. Get all these qualifications and caveats out of the rules and the sporting code. All cars must be above this minimum time when the FIA light panels change to green. The driver was 0.63 below the minimum time at the VS6. Okay, so he's below marginal. It was marginal, but do you know what I mean? Black and white settings sometimes below the minimum time at VSC end when the FIA light panels change to green. So he just mistimed it. Just mistimed it. And again, that's why Max Verstappen jumped on the brakes, right? Because he didn't want to get penalised. But you can see what he was doing there, reminiscent of Carlos Sainz. Although, most pertinent on the docket, in fact, let me finish this off before we start talking about whether this indicates a sporting advantage gained under the virtual safety car. The driver explained that as he was waiting virtual safety car to end and he got the notification that he was below the minimum time, he attempted to correct the error but failed to do so by the point that the panels turned green. This is a breach and standard penalties applied for the advantage gained at that time. The net effect of this put the driver ahead of where he was at the start of the virtual safety car and not as the result of the car in front falling back. Oh, the humanity. You can't write this stuff. Now look, Max Verstappen fans have been texting me non-stop. What are you talking about, Cameron? This is nonsense. This is fixed. Why? What about the virtual safety car, the timing of it? How comes they've only brought it out when by the time that McLaren had done the switch? This is chaos. We can't stand for this. This is the FIA not even being skullduggerous. This is an unconscious incompetence now, willful negligence per se. And I hear it. I mean, you'll never know, right? You'll never be able to discern 100% either way, but it looks and smells a bit fishy. But again, this is 2021 all over again. I don't think there is a thing called Hanlon's razor which states that you should never blame things on malice when you can attribute them to stupidity. I think that's what we're seeing yet again. I think that's what we've always seen from the FIA. They are daft and incompetent. They can't even pay stewards to get a full-time one. Johnny Herbert's out here getting £300 a day. Like, what is that? It's not even an accounting consultant thing. You want these dudes to travel all over the world. Yeah, they get expenses. But look, check this out. If we're doing a compare and contrast, Mohammed bin Sulayem gets on a private jet and tries to expense that to the FIA. That's more than £300 a day, much more. So what are we doing here, FIA? Again, I think we want to point our lenses not necessarily at the stewards, but at the FIA for just being stupid each and every single day. Hanlon Razor states, never attribute that which you can attribute to stupidity to malice. That's what we're doing here. Kayla, you're a legend. Barack remembering and missing Charlie Whiting like now more than ever before. Do you know what I mean? Charlie would have sorted out this. He would have got them all in a room, knocked their heads together and said, sort this out. Where are my full-time stewards? Do you know what I mean? 2021 would never have happened. And this that's happening now would have been stamped out as well. Justin Timberlake, Crimea River mode, says Technopedia. Oh, the humanity. Modern day John. Oh, the it feels a lot like people are saying it's conspiracy, but I feel like it's puffing here. We're connecting dots that I'm not sure necessarily need to be or should be connected. But the FIA can't blame anyone but their self. Can't. When you give Charles Leclerc a bloody €10,000 penalty for doing the same thing as Max Verstappen did because he apologised, but Max Verstappen did in immediate aftermath, and so he gets community service. Like this is some crime, some like penal. Like what do we do? I just think it's nonsense. Every time it's nonsense from the FIA. It just makes no sense. T-minus 17 minutes away from a rain-soaked qualifying. Oh, the humanity. Double trouble. Look, I'm going to have a look at the odds because I'm anticipating Max Verstappen should be a massive favourite by now. And if he's not, I might have to put a cheeky couple of quid on if I were a betting man. Let's see what the odds makers have as a fastest qualifier. Oh my gosh, they've still got Lando Norris. That cannot be right. In the wet like this, then Max Verstappen's not favourite. 4-1. Oh, the humanity. So they're giving, all right, so they're saying that Max Verstappen drops it on pole 16% of the time. Huh? And that Lando Norris drops it on pole about 60% of the time. What? Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. Have I got time to go in the 57.7? Oh. So Lando Norris, 57.8% of the time puts it on pole, meaning if you run this simulation 100 times, they're saying that Lando Norris drops it on pole 57.8 times. Oh, I don't like it. They've messed up, haven't they, the odds makers? Can you see this from a mile away? 22.2% of the time, Oscar Jack Piastri. But look at this. 1/4. Oh, fudge cake. 16% of the time Max Verstappen puts it on pole after the back of that pace that he had in the race. You think they're not going to set up this car now better? You think that's not going to nullify? Lando Norris told us already he was praying, wishing that the racing gods would smile down upon him and keep this track dry. Rain is the equaliser. Yes, McLaren have the quicker car. Of course they do. It would be egregious, no, disingenuous of me to argue against. They do. But now that it's raining, who do you tell me? In fact, you know what? Let me stop preaching at you guys and you guys can tell me who you think's going to drop it on pole now that it's rainy. Proper rain, 2016 Brazil type rains, you know what I mean? You tell me who's going to put it on pole before I put my cheeky bet on. Everyone keeps saying to me, well, Lando's actually really good in the wet. Do you know what I mean? There is good and there is great. Max Verstappen is a proper Reaganmeister. Right. Okay. You guys tell me. I really want to watch this from Ted Kravis. This his stint in the Formula One car, but I'm not interested. I want to. Can we just talk about? Do you know what I mean? There's team circumstances going on. Look, qualifying wet on a newly resurfaced bumpy track. Do you want to give these guys and girls any more problems for which they need to solve? It's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be absolutely, it's going to be proper chaos. It is going to be a chaos session. T-minus 13 minutes away from the start of a qualifying session, and I'm here for it. Let's go. 327 of you in the chat. Candidate Max all day says candidate. Like what? Who else? Who else at this stage? Candidate 61% in a rain like this. Go back and watch 2016 around this very same track and the way that he was overtaking these dudes. You know, I was just trying to, I need to go back and watch the sprint. Into turn 4, when you consider, again, a cheeky tip, if you want to look out, if you're interested in the nuance of driver technique and the different lines that they take, into turn 4, if you think Max Verstappen isn't a tight line driver, short corners, as Peter D. Windsor says it. Look at the front facing camera following these drivers going into turn 4. Max wasn't even on the white lines. The likes of Charles, like doing his edge to edge thing, desperately trying to optimize or maximize the angle of turn. So they were all on like their right wheels were all on the white lines. Oscar, Lando, and Charles. When you look at Max was just tight line in sector 3 or turn 4 even. Bonkers. I need to go and have a look at it again properly. As Ted Kravitz is talking about the weather. Mate, they can't even go out and qualify in that, can they? Not yet. They've got to, I think they'll red flag the session until that waned. They can't let them go out on that sort of rain. Although it would be interesting to see 262 of you watching could currently do me a favour and smash a like. Could see Lando getting pole and then suddenly praising him. Oh, go on and tell me about this Lando Norris thing, because again, the community's done one of these, hasn't it? Lando, you're a joke. You can only win the race with Oscar Piastri and the FIA. So listen, it wasn't his best session. I will say that, but come on. Has he not earned the right to strategic racing room? A little bit, maybe. So they punished Max. I don't know if I can follow this sport anymore. Not kidding, it's all sport. Motorsport is bonkers. It's always been bonkers. It has always been bonkers. Have you seen how much rain is coming down on this track? Oh, here we go. It's not safe. Okay, so Ted Kravitz says it's not safe. Red flag settings. All right, so this session is red flagged until further notice then. Okay, no, so we're going long. We're in for the long haul, chat. No chance of starting a session. So Ted Kravitz says the rain will eventually clear up from the north, but there's no telling. 10 to 3 in the afternoon local time. We're in. Grab a drink, chat. We're gonna be here long. Yeah, no, or they just go with the sprint. Maybe that's an option. Maybe they do go with the sprint result. Who knows, eh? We're going long, chat. We are going long. Let me bed in. Let me get my my cheeky low rider on. Do you know what I mean? Oh dear. It's and diehard grizzled F1 vets will be like, well, do you know what I mean? Intus, get them out. Get them out. Oof. Ted Kravitz says Ferrari are ready to go now. Wow. That Ferrari have set themselves up for this car, for these conditions. Fred says we might have to wake up tomorrow morning early for the quali. Wow. Oh, mate, can't we just have a rain-soaked quali? What happened to her? If Senna was still alive, Senna would be like, send me out, mate. Do you know what I mean? This is what these guys get paid the bid bucks for, right? Oh my God, it is bad though, to be fair. Start of qualifying will be delayed. 278 of you in the chat. Oh no. Max haters are okay by me. Systemic is not. It's a good shout, Starley. It's a good shout. It does look bad. I understand. But apophony is a real thing, right? A cognitive dissonance that leans into connecting causality dots when it is not causality. It is only correlation. This isn't me saying that this is what happened because I have no idea. Is the truth. Oh, rain. It's too much rain. Now we don't have a session. I wanted rain. Cheeky look at the radar. Oof. The weather forecast is for more of the same tomorrow. Oh, the humanity. What are we doing, chat? This is far too chaotic. 239 of you watching concurrently. Naomi states the obvious that water drainage because of the contoured Interlagos track usually isn't too much of an issue. But maybe it might be because the track's just been newly resurfaced there. Maybe. Full wets. Am I a joke to you? Inters, mate. Inters. Do you know what I mean? Or Reds. Slicks. Senna would have gone out same way. Do you know what I mean? To scrap full wets at this point, full wets are usable. Red flag the set. This is true actually. To say you make a good point. There is a hesitance. I get it. Listen, you can't have it. You can't have it too safe, right? You can't have it too safe. But I mean, now, what am I a fool to you, F1? What, you expect me to just sit here and chill out? Well, we can riff. We wanted rain, but not Moses. Hey, says Daniel. Us F1 fans are hard to please. It's a good chat. Istanbul 21 settings. Oscar can only win if Lando goes off. It's going to be interesting. Have I got time? I need to know if they're going to bring it. That is bonkers, though. Look. If they're saying that Max Verstappen only wins in these conditions, only puts himself on pole 16% of the time, then if I were a betting man, but then it depends how, under what sort of conditions they start quali. That's the issue. That's the issue. 265 of you watching, 267 of you watching currently anyway. We have ourselves, for those of you who are just joining, we have ourselves a rained off qualifying, monsoon settings, Empire Euro Legends. Sir Lewis is missing in those multiple choice. Oh dear. Oh, I know what you mean. Okay, Empire. I hear what you're saying. Empire, the way that I did those multiple choice, it's as good a time as any to talk about that. Right, so I've always been a statistical probability guy. Probabilistic. I've always been that way inclined. I would love to put Lewis in each and every single one of those polls. But if I give you an example, if we're talking about qualifying, I'll defer to the forensic accountants in the room, right? Look, so I can only pick 4 of those in the polls. As much as I'd love to lean into my open, you hear me say this, that I can never ever sacrifice my truth value nor objectivity at the altar of partisanship, as much as I'd like to, as far as Lewis Hamilton is concerned. Look, Lewis Hamilton for quali, they've given, hang on. So Lando Norris is favourite to drop it on pole. Oscar is second favourite. Max Verstappen is third favourite. After that, you've got Charles, Carlos, George, and then only Lewis. Lewis is 50 to 1. He's got no chance. Something would have to happen. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. He's 7th favourite, chat. Meaning, therefore, that he's just a rank outsider. He's never going to drop it on pole. That's the truth. That's the truth, whether you like it or hate it. I know Lewis Hamilton fans want to be able to vote for their guy, that faith is a real thing and sending good vibes is a real thing. But listen, ultimately, Crackosaurus Rain is starting to let up. Is it? Is it Crackosaurus? Yeah, so I can't put Lewis in those polls when he's 7th favourite. There can only be 4, and if he's 7th, if he were 5th, I might try and do you know what I mean? Bend the knee ever so slightly. But if he's 7th favourite and I can only pick 4, it'd be disingenuous. You couldn't respect the channel again if I put Lewis in there those times. Pros is also missing in the multiple choice. I know, I mean, I think, I bet if you go back and take a look, Perez was definitely in Singapore and 100% he would have been, I bet he would have been in the Singapore port. I know you're joking there. Crackosaurus says the rain's starting to let Pierce open. It's funny how fans were demanding team orders from McLaren, but now that they finally lose them in Lando's favour, they complain. Yeah, you can't. There's no pleasing F1 fans. We moan for everything. It's raining. It's too sunny. The races are too boring. There's too much overtaking. It's too authentic. It's not authentic enough. It's just bonkers. You're just going to always hear this nonsense from F1 drivers. It's whatever it is. There's no pleasing F1 fans. Do you know what I mean? They're just look professional moaners we are as an F1 community. What's going on, MSRS? Good morning. I hope you are well. I think they wanted orders before when they still had faith in Lando, but I think he's lost that now. Well, They've got to keep Oscar Piastri happy, right? You don't know who's going to drive where next year, 2025. Mate. It's just no telling. Is Carlos Sainz going to be at Red Bull? Now people are saying they are. Like switcheroo transfer pricing with one Franco Colapinto. Franco Colapinto is set to drive at Williams. Carlos Sainz set to cessate, null and void his contract and enter into an equivalent one with the Bulls that are red, potentially. Oh, the humanity, ladies and gents. Perez, multiple choice. Genie, you can't make it, can he? Sadly. For those of you who are just joining, 340 of you in the chat concurrently, we have ourselves a rained off session. Steady rain, says Damon Hill, but you need a period of no rain, right? So the track can dry out just a little bit. 356. How dares Checo say he has a contract? How disconnected he's. Well, if he reads through the contract, he'll be aware that he's got a performance clause in there. And a performance clause says that they can null and void it. Qualifying has been delayed due to rain. No kidding, Sherlock. I'm just responding to the Sky Sports notification. We didn't know that, did we? Sky Sports. Thank you for the clarification. Sky Sports F1 internationally syndicated broadcast. Do you know what I mean? Bernie Eccleston on deck. Oof. McLaren will be worried about these conditions, says Bernie. Of course they will. No kidding, Sherlock. Have you got the fastest car in the... Lando said it. Lando said that if I could choose, I would not want rain because rain is the greatest equaliser. You only need to go back. Watch, you know what? 2016, Brazil. Tell you everything that you need to know. With rain, will Lance cook a banger lap potentially? AS. Thank you so much. You're far too kind. The reason being, of course, Lance Stroll, whilst he's not a god-tier peddler, sometimes can appear to be a god-tier peddler in the wet. It's a weird quirk of the story arc that is Lance Stroll. Not a great driver, and most great drivers are good in the wet, but he somehow makes it look easy in the wet. It's a weird one with Lance. How can he be so good in the wet and then bad in the dry? Maybe it's because he grew up in Canada, right? And he's quite used to that sort of characteristic as far as a racing track, maybe. Some say. James Val saying ETA coming soon. That we will get an update. 15:45. What's he mean? In 45 minutes, we're going to get an update. What's Simon talking about, the Joker? Do media influence stewards, says Style? Well, Karun Chandut spoke about being influenced as a media person by teams. Not influenced, he said it. Pressurised. That during 2021... Oh, wow. Franco. Oh, no. Trial by fire for Franco Colapinto because he's going to... Franco, not accustomed to driving an F1 car in the wet. It's going to get a bit techie for a minute. Can someone give Max a winning car? It's been a long while. Great, Goku. Oof. So to your question, Airs, maybe Lance will go well. Maybe. But he doesn't have a car. You almost need half a car and then... You need half a car and then you need to be good in the wet, right? And Lance, Aston Martin's been woeful in the dry. So, like, I don't know. Do you guys remember, whilst we're waiting, do you remember, let me tell you guys a story. Do you guys remember when my wife locked my child in the car and I had to pause the stream? Well, my neighbour walked past the car just now. The only person to have driven the car today is my wife. My neighbour, bless him, walked past the car just now and opened the door just to see whether it was locked. And it was not locked, it was unlocked. Take that for whatever you will. I don't want to get divorced, but do you know what I mean? I will say nothing more on that matter. What if we finally get another new winner because of the rain, potentially? But he won't be new, will he, Miami? This is the problem. He will be Max Verstappen. It'll be Max or Lewis. Max or Lewis in the wet. Oh, even though that Mercedes is a rubbish, an SH1T box. Lewis might go and do something special because he just got it in his locker like that. He has it in the wet like that. Genie, incredible Genie. Lightning strikes twice, eh? Sometimes it feels like commentators call for something, then it happens. Sometimes it's a bit suspect. So as far as the order of events, Stylo, to your point, I think sometimes it looks like that. This is the equivalent. Lewis Hamilton fans around the world would be like, I told you, Max Verstappen fans, there was something dodgy. Because they were saying this all throughout 2021. I don't think 2021. Listen, there are channels out there dedicated that only talk about 2021. You know this, right? That's all that they talk about. No actual F1 that's happening now. Just talk about F1 in 2021 and how it's corrupt and all this stuff. And that's their prerogative, right? But sometimes it looks and feels and smells like a rat, and then it's not a rat. It's just the statistical probability of the thing. And in 2021, I think they were, again, Hanlon's razor, never attribute to malice that which you can attribute to stupidity. I use that nicely and frequently when I'm talking about Mercedes, and so too the FIA stewards. Just nonsense every time. So Style, this isn't me saying Style categorically that something isn't awry or off, and it's not skullduggery. An agency as far as the stewards are concerned. Liberty Media, of course, will want Lando Norris to do well over the next few races to keep it interesting, because their viewing figures and their attendance, their live audiences will do one of these, right? So there is agency there, but I could not tell you. I couldn't tell you. Alex Albon apparently advising Colapinto how to navigate a very wet Interlagos. He's going to need it. The last race was stupidity. So go on then, Styler. Let's dissect the last race. Turn 4, turn 8 we're talking about, of course. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. Here's my own personal thoughts. Turn 4, take it or leave it. If you're going to give Max Second a 5-second penalty, give him one. If you're not going to give him one, you're going to chalk it up to a racing incident. I have no problem with either or. Turn 8, however, I think Max Verstappen deserved the penalty. Max Verstappen fans will kill me for saying that, right? It is what it is. You hear me talk about Max. I love me some Max Verstappen as a driver. As much as I think I reacted, if you watch the stream and see me react it in real time, I think my shock horror tells you all that you need to know. Turn 8 was a bit dodge. And Max, Christian Horner normally, the translation, when Christian thinks he's been hard done by, he goes hard, right? If Max says, oh, well, if Christian says, well, do you know what I mean? Well, the penalty was like, that makes you know that Max was probably a bit naughty. And I think as far as turn 8, I think you could have given him, I think 10 seconds is a feasible pay. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, stop, go. It was a serious one, and it wasn't a mistake by Max. I don't characterise that move as a mistake. It was deliberate. There was mens rea intent, corpus mentis, or whatever it is. Max knew absolutely what he was doing at turn 8, and in that sense, as much as I love him, Austria, he's brilliant. It's a brilliant drive. This isn't me saying, nothing I'm saying here is diametrically opposed to Max Verstappen being on the Mount Rushmore of F1. Shez says it best, you know. Shez tells me this: if you retired Max Verstappen at the end of 2021, that just on that season alone and how he raced Lewis Hamilton, one of the greatest that we've ever seen, Max Verstappen's face would have to be on the Mount Rushmore of F1. That's how good Shez thinks Max Verstappen is. That's the level. Forget 2022, 23, 24, all that other stuff. You're playing with house money. Still raining. Still raining. 40 minutes till another announcement. Bloody Nora. Go on and chat. Bed down. Get yourself a drink. 40 minutes until we get another announcement, AM. All right. We're going to chill out. Get yourself a drink, settle down, not going anywhere. Wolf of Wall Street, you know, the meme that Sergio Checo Perez used. I'm not going anywhere. Of course, you're not Checo. Let's see about that after this race weekend. And Checo Perez fans are bad as well. I know they're not monolithic. Did you see, by the way, after line, Checo Perez, Oscar Jack Piastri in his defensive posture? How is Oscar Jack able to nail the defensive posture off the line, pointing his car directly at the second place man, his teammate Lando Norris? But Lando Norris has been around 200 years now and still doesn't do it. Still racing too fair. It must be dry for Lando. Oh, rain looks a lot less. No, it's raining a lot less, Axel, but they need to give it some time for the track to dry up right. Ahoy, peddlers, Grant says. Due diligence settings, smash the like button for the one who F's. I love that, Grant. Using all the proper terminology. Merchandise is coming soon as when I can pull my finger out. Do you know what I mean? So, all right, look, for those of you just joining, in T-minus 38 minutes, we're going to get another announcement updating us as to when, how, and why they're going to resume or start even a qualifying session that should have already started. Oh, the humanity. It's techie. Troy, I went to the doctors for my heart rate and general well-being. I'm keeping neutral. Let's go, Troy. I don't know if you mean Troy, I need to go to the doctors for my heart rate too. After that sprint race, that sprint race was chaos. Okay, some Pringles and a bit. Let's go, Daniel. I don't hate the Pringles. Not a beer drinker, but I don't hate the beer either. Let's see what happens in this weather. Right, we're settling in. I'm mixing some noodles to go with my tequila. Let's go, Genie. I don't hate that. I don't hate. This can take some time. Save me some, Genie. I haven't even eaten today. I just had some. I had some crackers and some salmon. Bit of black pepper on the smoked salmon. I used to be obsessed with it, but I feel like I've eaten too much, and it's doing one of the familiarity. They say breeds contempt, eh? Like it's just a bit doesn't bang like it used to. This smoked salmon. But anyway, it's getting techie. Baxley, go on. Let's get a cheeky poll out, and we can talk Twiglets. Attic. Oh my gosh, do they still even make Twiglets? My friends used to go mad around Twiglets. 43% of you think Max will poll it, and I think you guys are right. Right, let's have a chat about this 5 seconds. We're going long. 364 if you're watching concurrently as we have ourselves a rain delayed session. Did you see, by the way, Baxter of the Shakedown pointed this out to me. Let me put a smile on my face. Chicken wings with Tabasco. Oh, Attic. Oh, go on. You guys, let me know what you're chomping on as we chew the fat, to use the euphemism, before we get ourselves. Hopefully, we get ourselves a quality. Imagine if we just sacked it off completely. But we're here. You're here, and I'm here, and we're here. Do you know what I mean? Max Lewis or Alonso, who would win? Score the most points in the current Sauber over the season. You got to clarify your question, Anuj. Are you talking about prime Max, prime Lewis, prime Alonso, or those three as at 2024? Because you clarify, and I'll do my best to answer that. Cameron, how much does the driver add to wet weather racing? Does the driver really nullify the flaws of a car? Does a driver? There's a two-part question there, isn't there, B? How much does the driver add to the wet? All right, so the key to wet weather, the emphasis for as far as the driver's concerned, is all about feel, isn't it? So those drivers like it's Lewis and it's Max mainly. Those are the two god tier, or a Michael back in the day, or a Senna back in the day. The emphasis is on your ability to weaponize your internal gyroscope. You need to be able to feel, get as close to the limit of traction as far as the track's concerned before the car brakes, right? And it's about feeling when the car's about to brake, and the ability to correct for that. In Max, in 2016 Brazil, this same fixture, I mean, he was so good because of the lines it was taking. He understood where the grip was. He was taking the karting line on the outside. Look, as far as the wet's concerned, then it'd be a bit different around here today. But when the racing line is the racing line, because there's like an inherent layer of rubber on it. And when you're in the dry, you can leverage that for more grip, right? It's like an extra bit of adhesive. That's why the racing line is the racing line. Plus the racing line is the racing line because normally it's the geometric racing line, meaning that through the turns is the quickest way. You're making the angle of turn, combined entry bigger, right? What happens in the wet is that rain, that water blends with the racing line where there is rubber, and it all of a sudden becomes like the opposite. It's the inverse. The racing line in the dry is what you want to stay away from in the wet. If not just because of that, the wet turns the racing line to this slippery stuff that's proper rubber. So what you'll see, Max Verstappen in 2016 particularly, he's exploring for the grip, and through turn 1, 2, through turn 3 at Brazil, you can see Max Verstappen, he's like super wide all the way on the outside, and it looks risky, right? Because if he loses the car there's no gap between him and the grass, so he'd be off. Some people, when I used to kart, I wanted to give myself some wriggle room in the wet. I wanted to give myself some margin of error so that if I did lose it, I'd have some time to fix it. But Max found additional grip on the outside of the track going through turn 3, and was going around the outside of Nico Rosberg and Danny Rick as if they were driving a different formula. The reason why he was able to do that is because he was driving what they call the karting line away from the racing line. That day, everybody else was taking the racing line, which is still, okay, so it's the quickest way through the turns. But if there's no grip on there because the water has meshed with the rubber, the rubbery racing line to become just like just no grip, right? So that's why Max takes that. That's what Max will do around here, right? In quali, if it's wet, Max will just go somewhere else and find the grip, the karting line they call it. I hope I've answered your question there. So I've gone off on a massive tangent, but do you know what I mean? Interesting bit of insight, I think you guys said. Too much of a good thing, need to change it up, Cam. That's what they used to say about Lewis. Oh no, that is exactly what they used to say. Rumours about Kyle Lamy making a return. There's a video that just popped on my time horizon that said that South Africa Grand Prix is in jeopardy. I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I don't know what they were talking about. Arctic cheesecake for dessert. Wow. Let's go. Cholesterol. No, don't hate it, Attic. You gotta allow yourself. You only get one. Life indeed is a finite resource, some say. Style. The question was not if it was earned. Hold on, Styler. Let me read this question properly. The question was not if it was earned, but deserved. About Lando Norris. Who cares at this point? I agree with you. If you're going to wade in the very murky waters of sporting etiquette and codes of conduct. But honour, there is no honour amongst thieves. Lando's got to get this done. Whatever way he can get it done, he's got to get it done. He's going to need help. Can't beat Max Verstappen in 2024 November of, unless you have help. 44 points to diff, 4 races, 11 points on average. He's going to need help. He's going to need favours. He's going to need for Charles Leclerc to step up. Oh, and by the way, did you see me talking about modern day journalism? How dare you, Cameron, refer to Charles Leclerc as modern day journalism? Charles is infinitely better than journalism. Journalism only won one race. His epitaph will say unfulfilled potential, and Charles Leclerc's will say F1 more track. Well, does he? He doesn't make mistakes. You heard Max Verstappen on the radio. Charles Leclerc just makes too many mistakes. I've got it from the God tier one himself. That's your sign of approval. Do you know what I mean? He told you, not me. Charles out here just making too many mistakes. That's interesting. Watching a sprint race again. Do you see Max Verstappen isn't using the entire road? Mr. Tight lines over here. I think that means that he's got the car underneath him and he can leverage the combined entry, going into the apex of the corner, brake and turn at the same time. He's getting the car turned now, which doesn't bode well for the rest of them, eh? When Max Verstappen has a car underneath him, do you know what I mean? Oh, stop glazing, Max Verstappen, Cameron. You're such a sellout. Go away. Go away. Goku, speedy recovery. Yeah, no, absolutely. Daniel says, I say no because I'm a Max fan. But he kind of did two things. The speed and the fact that he was almost next to Piastri. So I don't know this one. Yeah, the Delta. It was the Delta. The way that you measure the virtual safety. So under virtual safety car, at certain points in the track, they just need to make sure that they're at the very least in line or behind. There's a positive Delta, right? Normally they give themselves a bit of margin. You just want to make sure if you're below the Delta, then you've got yourself an issue, right? That means you've gone into that portion of the track too fast. Max Verstappen tried to do himself a clever one, didn't he? He tried to back off. Remember Carlos Sainz a couple of years back at, I can't remember, Paul Ricard maybe? Carlos Sainz maybe 2022 at Paul Ricard. Was it Paul Ricard? There was a track, yeah, anyway, where Carlos Sainz Jr. tried to do... In fact, he stole Checo Perez's lunch money from him. On the virtual safety restart, Carlos Sainz just going like... Just like roaring down because he timed the virtual safety car delta. Like he'd get... Do you know what I mean? He'd backed off so much and then the driver in front just didn't see him coming. I want to say it was Carlos Sainz on Checo. But there is a way to game that system, and that's what I think Max Verstappen was trying to do. But he didn't give himself... He needed to back off just a half a second more, and he would have been able to nail it. Catch one Oscar Piastri by surprise. 453 if you're watching concurrently. We are waiting and chilling out here, chopping up the F1 fat whilst we wait for a qualifying session. We will get an update in circa T-minus 28 minutes as to what's going on with the track, what's going on, what's the intended plan as far as quality. Reminiscent a couple of years ago of Spa. Remember when Spa didn't even get any racing because it just rained and rained and rained until the Monday morning. How rude is Spa Francorchamps? I love it as a track, but I mean it has that around that area of the world. It can just rain. It can just rain. Remember they did like 2 laps and then awarded full points or something. 2021 Spa Francorchamps, maybe, I can't remember. Nonsense. That qualifying session shouldn't even jinx it, but that qualifying session is the session when Lando had a serious incident and Vettel was warning them, wasn't he? Vettel was saying, listen, go, like, be red flag. Sebastian Vettel said, red flag the session. What are you doing? And then they didn't red flag it because the F1 stewards are nothing if not long and nimble and agile think, isn't it? Something they do very well. Right. Oh no. Should we get ourselves a cheeky radar up? We can get a radar up, can't we? Right. I need to get myself a radar up, don't I? I might just put the radar behind me for now. Let's have a look. Oh my gosh. Just raining. Nothing else for me to say. We'll talk. We'll continue going back and forth. We need to get ourselves a map, don't we? 1 second. Oh, so the wind is going to northwest. So, hold on. There's a weather radar that you always used to use. AccuWeather is good. Right, let's have a go. Bear with. I like that they're showing the sprint, by the way. That was a really good sprint, eh? I remember as soon as the sprint finished, I was like, bloody not, like, give me a break. Give me a break. I felt like I'd just done a workout in the gym or something. It was nuts. I'm just trying to get a cheeky, bear with me. We'll continue to go back and forth, but I'm just trying to get a... Hang on. There was a... Okay. Satellite. Right, here we go. I think I've got myself a cheeky man. No. Oof. Hang on. They didn't do the swap, did they? I'm coming back, I promise. I just want to try and Oh, where's my map? I always used to get a cheeky weather map, but I can't find one anymore. I'm too noddy. 456 of you concurrently waiting patiently. Go on and let's talk. Forget your weather map, Cameron. Let's talk. I was watching F1 TV and I will hear Will Buxton talking about great wet weather drivers who can make a difference. Lewis and Fernando. What about Max, mate? Did Will not mention Max? Bloody Dora. Don't even listen to them chat. Look, Will Buxton, don't believe me. Check this out. Will Buxton, and again, nobody bats 1,000. I think Will Buxton is one of the good ones. Good. 7 out of 10 settings when he's ready, when he's had his Weetabix in the morning. But Will Buxton, for fits and kicks, went on a podcast called The Fast and the Curious and said a couple of weeks ago, you can go and check it out on YouTube if you don't believe me, you want to fact check me. Will Buxton words, not mine. Can Lando Norris win? Will Buxton replies as follows. I don't think he can win. I think he will win. That was his prediction. And listen, maybe he does still, do you know what I mean? Maybe in a couple of weeks' time, Lando Norris has won the championship. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. To be that, to back that so fully fleshed, I don't know. I think you've got to be a bit, I don't know, chaps, guys and girls. I think you've got to be, I think it's bluster, but Will Buxton gets the game, to be fair to him. I think F1 for the longest time, if I'm honest, has lacked a bit of vavavoom, a bit of engagement, you know? Like, I don't know, as I see it, all the other podcasters and content creators, listen, there are some really, really good ones. Let me not disparage. Tomo's ridiculous. Aldas, Quickstop, Martin Lower Lap Time, Shez and Back. Like, there were good ones out there. They get it. Peter and Mahad of, I always forget the name, McLaren Fan TV, Law, Aaron, Tactical Rab F1. Like, there are some really, really good ones, but more broadly, when you compare the F1 content creation space and the F1 broadcasting space, we lack seasoning. We do lack seasoning as versus what football are doing and overlap and Stephen A. Smith. It's like, you see Stephen A. Smith is, and Skip to a certain extent, or a less extent now that he's been sacked. But you see these guys, they've made an industry out of these enthusiastic conversations, let's say. Where are those in F1 chat? Oh, wait. They don't exist because we don't have the parties requisite. Windsor, how dare I miss out Peter Windsor? Windsor's one of the rare few. Okay, here's Peter Windsor's gift if I'm going to blow smoke up his AWS for a second, as he deserves because he's the goatiest one in the game. Windsor's gift is that he has all the knowledge, and you can, like, there's no, like, he can talk about Giuseppe Farina in 1950 and his age, and he'll talk about like Lotus 72 and Colin Chat. Like, he knows all these stories, right? But his gift is that he's going to be able to translate these very nuanced motorsport messages to the masses in a way that's engaging. You're listening to him, and half the time when Windsor gets in his back, I can't remember that. I wasn't born those times. When he starts talking about Jim Clark and the new, but I want to know because Peter makes you interested in it. That, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, if I summarise it as neatly and succinctly as I can, is what's missing in Formula One. 90% of them, excluding the names aforementioned, are snooze fests. Oh, well, in 1953... No! F1 needs to bring it to the masses. The joke is with Windsor, friend of the channel, we'll be talking on Monday, of course. I was just talking to him. With Peter Windsor, the joke is he's what F1 needs, because his engaging way of communicating these very nuanced F1 messages doesn't disenfranchise the 18 to 35-year-old demographic. And that's what Liberty Media is doing trying desperately to capture as far as growth markets. You know what I mean? If you have like all these like... I listen to some of the other, I'm not even going to mention any names, but if you listen to some of the older heads in F1, oh, wow, what do you want to consider? In 1966, it was Jack Brad. It's like, I'm interested already. I'm here for the long game, right? Look at my beard, all great, and my hair all I've been here a while, right? I want to hear these topics, but some of these dudes are talking it in a way that I just can't engage. I'm just like, flipping Nora, colour me bored. Do you know what I mean? What is the point? Can you guys still see me? I feel like my internet just cut out. I apologise if you saw me cut out very quickly, but I was on a rant, wasn't I? Basically, I say all that to say this. F1 as a sport and as an endeavour, not content creators, but the broadcasters. I'm listening to Karun and I'm like, colour me bored. Damon a little bit as well, Joe. You're right. And Damon's a legend. I love Damon Hill. I love me some Damon Hill. Do you know what I mean? You don't even get that type of brand of bravery anymore. Think they're going to trap me up in Senna's car like the weekend after Senna's just passed? And you don't know why hitting? No. Visual, you're an absolute legend. Mr. Windsor needs a playlist for seasons and events. I don't disagree with that. I'll suggest it, Visual. But yeah, most of them are just like bored. Like, oh, well, well, you need to understand that Damon hit in 1994 at Adelaide and Michael. Like, they just don't talk in a naturally, inherently engaging way. I was listening to somebody else as well talk about the skill that is talking extemporaneously on the fly. 9 times out of 10, when I turn on my videos, the 8-minute versions, I'm spitting. I'm riffing. I've got a very loose. We're getting techie now, and I'm peeling back the fourth wall. But we've got time, haven't we? T-minus 15 minutes away from a cheeky update. When I'm talking, I am talking extemporaneously to you. I don't have a script in front. Sometimes I've got news articles that I will cite, and you'll see me reading them down here. But broadly, when I'm talking about F1, it's from the heart, because I think that's how it lands better. I don't want to be like a talking head behind a script and have an auto. No, I want to talk to you guys so that you can feel it when I speak it. Do you know what I mean? And that, in a nutshell, Windsor's the same, right? Windsor doesn't have a script. I've never asked him, but I can guarantee you that. And that's how he's able to interact and articulate these very nuanced story arcs as far as F1 is concerned. This linguistic, colourful, rich tapestry and F1 lore in a way that's just engaging and fascinating, right? Like, just takes you on this story and talks about his time with I remember the other day, he didn't even realise how God-tier it was. Candidate, the issue with the broadcast media is that they've, let's say, guidelines and narratives to stay. I just think they're boring, Candidate. I think you do them you give them too much grace. Windsor the other day, give an example. He didn't even realise this nugget. He was talking about, I'm going to get him to, I'll probably try and talk to him about it on Monday, unless we have some serious things to talk about this weekend. Like, Windsor was saying, look at Lando. Just seeing the sprint race of Lando doing one of these. I remember Peter Windsor, friend of the channel. I was talking to him and he just glossed over this. He was talking about, because Nigel Mansell came to the game late, and remember, Peter Windsor is Nigel Mansell's team manager at Williams when he won his World Championship in 1992. Windsor was Nigel's guy. When Nigel came to F1 really, really late as far as age, 39, I want to say he won his championship in 92, 38, 39, something like that. But all the while, Windsor had been, Peter D. Windsor, put some respect on his name, had been instrumental in getting Nigel Mansell a drive in F3. He was the one who was writing the letters to different teams, trying to pitch Nigel to them to get him a drive. Attic, you're a legend. Windsor for lead steward and Vettel. Can you imagine? That would solve all of their problems, I'm telling you. But Windsor doesn't want to go to races every single race weekend. Oh, no, you're a legend, Genie. I try. Oh, the humanity, Andre. I do try, and I don't know. I don't think I have the ability to talk as brilliantly, extemporaneously as I'd like. I will get there, though, in the end. This time next year, after putting all this reps in with you guys and practicing and being more intentional, to use the Sir Lewis Hamilton words about my delivery and practicing, we will be God tier. I don't think we're God tier just yet, but I think we're better, not to like pat myself on my back, if humility is indeed a thing, but I think we're already more engaging as a community than our most. Sky F1, when did Sky F1, and the joke is Sky, as far as football Sky, have weaponized fan community. Every Saturday social, they leverage fans because they know that there is engagement in passion and fans. Sky F1, no chance. They're living in the dark ages, mate. It's Pinks and it's Hill and it's Brundle. Fans, when do they... all right, so the one time they get Tomo on Sky F1 broadcast from time to time, and they've had spanners of the missed Apex, and do you know what I mean? They've had Aldous has been on there. Law VS will be on Sky Sports F1. So they incorporate, but it's very like at arm's reach, isn't it? Oh, like when we need you. You need Tomo flipping it. To give Tomo a job, for Pete's sake. Can you imagine Tomo on the Sky F1 broadcast? add value any. A bit of like swag on there, like flipping Nora. But no, it's always the same. Boring F1. Back in 1956, the championship was decided by 0.2 of a second because in the final race, Sterling. It's just like. Use that stuff as a cure for insomnia, do you know what I mean? We need wins as a steward, says Mitch. I don't disagree. Got to take the dog for a little walk. I don't hate it, Starter. We'll be back. We'll be here when you get back. 489 if you're watching Cocconi. Do me a favour, smash a like. When I was growing up, Peter Winter was commenting every race. I don't want speed. They could do with it, but I don't think he'd take the gig anymore. Manch. Sometimes you have to go for the legs and be prepared for a red card as the final. There's a very famous instance of that. Let me finish. You're too kind, Dumanch, by the way. You have to go for the legs and be prepared for a red card. The final defender in a football game. When you believe your team has a chance to win, Max accomplished precisely that in turn 8. Dumanch, you put it better than I ever could. Tell you what, there's a very famous example of baby-faced Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Type in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on YouTube. If you're a football fan, of course. He commits a foul, the most flagrant foul that you've ever seen in your life. And to a man or woman at Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams, they're all standing up, giving him a vote. He gets a red card for fouling a guy who was blatantly going to go and score a goal. Type in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer foul. It's a very famous instance. And all of Old Trafford stood up on their feet and did one of these. It was a moment. Beckham comes up and gives him a push in his head, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, I had to foul it. This is sport, and sometimes you've got to make calculated decisions, eh? I hear you, Imanch. Some people will disagree with that, but I hear you. Not winning isn't for everyone. Alex Jakes he's sick, isn't he? I feel like I'm missing out, William. Alex Jakes will be adding lots of value. The only exposure that I get to Alex Jakes is on a podcast called the Checkered Flag podcast on BBC. And he pops up from time to time on Formula for Success, doesn't he? But he's God tier. I think he's going to be instrumental in me cancelling my Sky Sports subscription and going over to the dark side and F1 TV Pro. Apple F1 Tech, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for becoming an elite peddler, an elated peddler. You are a legend, and that will of course get you access to a couple of different things. The Discord, where we continue these conversations, all things F1 concerned and other. You will also get a cheeky access to the emojis, and you'll also get a colourful name in this, which gives you priority. I'm going to start trying to develop content behind the paywall, which again members will get access to. Thank you so much, Apple F1 Tech, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Ad infinitum. Why is my nose itchy again? Making a problem would be that legacy media would require, I like that you use the proper terminology there, Macon, legacy media, as versus new world media, right? Content creators, YouTubers, TikTokers, etc. A problem would be that legacy media would require certain watering down of the content. See, I'm not so sure that's true, Macon. You know me already. I don't really say, I don't know. To say that is to say that like content creators are like, do you know what I mean? We're not exactly red hot chili peppers as far as our bad behaviour. Quali in 24 minutes, I'm told. Cheeky update. 605 if you're watching currently, do me a favour, smash a like. So yeah, Macon, I hear what you're saying though, Macon. Your sentiment, let me not Grice's razor you. I think your sentiment of your statement is on the money. They'll view us content creators as a risk, but after a while they'll need us. It's already happened in football, Macon. Soccer over here, it's already happened. There's a channel called AFTV, and they started doing fan cams where fans were losing their mind, acting in a way that was true to them, and all of a sudden they were doing millions of views where internationally syndicated broadcasts weren't getting as many views. That will happen very soon in Formula One. In the next couple of years, there will be content creators and broadcasters acting out. Alex Jakes, right? Brilliant example. Everyone thought Crofty, myself included, that Crofty was the gold standard. And you listen to Alex Jakes and you realise that you were drinking from the cup of hopium all the while. That Alex Jakes is the god tier play-by-play guy in the space. So there's this thing that's going to happen. There will be a paradigm shift as far as what's important over the next couple of years. But do you know what I mean? It will, Alex Jakes is God tier, I'm telling you. You are not wrong. You guys are not wrong, William. When it was Lewis, people kept quiet. It's all Apple. I tell you what, I am Lewis's people, and I was just watching. I tried to watch a bit of the sprint race back, and it's so depressing. But I just don't even want to talk about it. It's depressing. Like Lewis, I don't know what the drivers are. I don't know what the contributants. Listen, it can't just be the car, because George Russell is driving the same car. Oh, but there's sabotage. I don't believe that Mercedes is sabotaging Lewis Hamilton. I just don't. Hanlon's Razor is my favourite one. I just don't think it's true. So what is it then? Is Lewis too old? Is Lewis getting too old? Has he lost the 10th? Is it George Russell? Does he not have the car underneath him? Does Lewis take his foot off the loud pedal when he doesn't have confidence in the machinery underneath him? Potentially all of the above, 39, 40-year-olds don't tend to win themselves championships, not too often. 40-year-old champions in F1, ever, you can count them on one hand. There have been three. Giuseppe Farina was the first in 1950. Juan Manuel Fangio won his last one in 1957. And Jack Brabham won one in 1966. 40-year-old champions after those, not named Brabham, Fangio, or Giuseppe Farina. There have been none, ladies and gentlemen. We're expecting an announcement in the next 6 minutes. Race control, estimated qualifying start time on the hour in 23 minutes time. Let us go. Let us go. It is indeed a confidence thing, Apple. I hear you. I think you're onto something, because Lewis, when he's got the car underneath him, the four wheels requisite to win races, he's almost unbeatable, right? Please see 2021. Ian Shaw, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for becoming a member. And if anybody else wants to become a member, feel free. No obligation, of course, but then you'll get priority in the chat each and every single time. You will get access to the Discord on the community tab, and you will get yourself some cheeky emojis. You're a legend, Ian Shaw. Thank you so much. 2025 can't come any fast enough for Lewis. I don't disagree, Apple. It's a bit nonsensical, isn't it? MSRS says, Cam, have you ever been to Silverstone? I can't imagine the atmosphere. So, MS, this is a funny story. Oh, we're talking about penalty. We've gone through the 5-second penalty that Max Verstappen got. I don't even want to read it out again. It's too techie. He contravened the virtual safety car delta, didn't he? Go on then. MSRS, to your question. Have I ever been to Silverstone? Yeah, a few times. Not to see a race though. I can't. Oh, they're showing Max Verstappen infringe upon the virtual safety car delta whilst there was still the virtual safety car light on as he was going into turn 4. MSRS, to your question, I have been to Silverstone a load of times, but mainly for track days. I think it's the best track in the world, I would be honest with you. And so I spend a lot of time around there trying to optimize for my Maggots and my Becketts. Do you know what I mean? And my Luffield and my Cops Corner. I'm rubbish. I'm not very good. But no, last time I was around there, I was quite fast, to be fair. It's quite fast. Nowhere near these guys. You know what I mean? I'm not a racing driver, but I'd hold my own. Rayhan says, I absolutely believe it's more about Mercedes trying to tank the season for better next year, and they are putting the leaving driver as a guinea pig. You know what, Rayhan? It's not beyond the realm of possibility. I can't rule it out. Not categorically. Who knows? But in the same token, I can't say it's absolutely 100% conspiracy. Do you know what I mean? That they're sabotaging Lewis Hamilton. Why would they? Sabotaging from what? As if he's going to win anything in that car. It just makes no sense. Why would if they were sabotaging him, why wouldn't they have sabotaged him at Silverstone? If Toto and his engineers want to sabotage you, you're not going to win anything. Your car wouldn't sabotage you properly. Your car wouldn't even finish. So I don't know. I think Lewis has fanned those flames a little bit by saying, he said a couple of things, right? He's talked about the tyre temps and the tyre pressures between free practice and the paid sessions, quali. He's talked about the car, the handling dynamic of it. But I think the explanation is a bit simpler, if I'm honest with you. Go back and listen to James Allison a couple of Mercedes debriefs ago as Max Verstappen enters the shot. James Allison said, a couple of drivers have said this. Firstly, Fernando Alonso has talked about how to extract the best out of this tech spec of car. The ground effect cars are a bit techy, right? There's a couple of characteristics. Alonso said this new spec of car Newey says, since 2022. That, oh my gosh, that fireworks are very scary, aren't they? When you're not expecting them. Alonso said to get the best out of this spec of car, you need to drive it out at 90% ish. The reason why he was saying it, he was talking, the broader context was why all of a sudden the safety car's gone away. Because remember, there was like an 8 race period during which we hadn't seen a safety car. Alonso explained that by saying people having to drive the cars at 90% as opposed to 100, because the symbiosis of this spec of car and this set of tyres, Pirelli settings, that's how you get across from A to B over the course of race distance quicker. You can't, the tyres too temperamental, you can't flat spot them, or by dint of thermal deg, you will lose a lot of lap time over the course of a race distance, right? James Allison spoke to this as well. And again, let me give you Exhibit B. You've heard at least 3 or 4 different times drivers saying, oh, I'm on pole. Almost as if they're surprised, eh? But that was pole. Same thing again that Alonso's talking about, that sometimes to extract the best out of the car, you've got to drive it at 90%, not 100%. Third exhibit, Exhibit C. James Allison was saying the other day that the problem as far as Lewis between free practice is similar. That in free practice 3, Lewis is driving the car at 95%, but when he dials it up to 100, 105%, by dint of the fact that the car, Christian Horner talking about 5 seconds. Well, Christian Horner, full qualifying session or nah? Christian Horner says a bit of a gap in the weather. Oh, we're going to have to get on with it. Oh, we're going on the hour, T-minus 17 minutes, and we've got ourselves a cheeky qualifying session. And the stewards are clearing the track. We are going. Yep. Simon, we'll get back to that, I promise. Because the Lewis Hamilton story is important. Virtual safety car deployment gate. Oh no, Christian, I want to say these things. The timing of the safety car was a bit disadvantaged. Oh no. Conspiracy gate, Abu Dhabi 21 or 2021. It's fixed all over again. But this time not in favour of Max Verstappen. This is nonsense. Incompetence, do you know what I mean? Incompetence. Naomi Schiff tells Christian Horner, sometimes you just need a bit of luck on race day. What were we saying about broadcasters and their silly comments? We are T-minus 16 minutes away from a qualifying session. And I am here and you are here for it. Let's go. Best track is Suzuka, says Visual. Maybe. Jeannie says Lewis is psychologically damaged by the car he's driving. I don't disagree with that. Cam, you definitely have one of the best F1 channels. You're a legend, Ian. I appreciate it. The wife and I love your content. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Ian. That means the most. We're trying out here. We're trying. Go on then. Final Exhibit A, B, C we've gone through. Exhibit D as far as Lewis Hamilton. C. James Allison spoke about it, saying that Lewis, and Ted Kravitz said that if you want to go and audit the tyre temps or the tyre pressures, you can go and do that. Data is all logged. So I feel like it's a bit disingenuous, Lewis, saying that, oh, the temps and the pressures or whatever. You can go and check that back after the session if you want to. Like that's very simple. But your Mama Cameron Lewis Hamilton fan will be like, oh, Lewis said the temps and the, like, you can just go and check that, mate. You can go and check it. Like, I think it's Christian Horner talking about the rain is a big variable. Wow. I'm looking forward to this session. Being out at the right time on the right tyre. Oh, it's gonna get techie. Yeah, so I think Lewis is giving rise to it. I think Lewis has said a couple of things. Not to say Lewis is a liar. He's absolutely a truth sayer. A sayer of truth even. But I think Lewis has said a couple of things, and the likes of Mama Cameron will be like, Lewis says that they're sabotaging him. Mercedes are sabotaging him, therefore. That's how that sort of stuff comes about. I think there's more nuance to it. And if you've watched F1 a while, you'll understand it. Sabotage and dark arts. It's always been a thing in Formula 1 and will always be a thing in Formula 1. How much of that do I attribute to Lewis's pitfalls this year? I mean, if you look at the head-to-head between George and Lewis, it hasn't even been close. Yeah, so Lewis is outperformed in the race, but again, normalise their driver standings for George. A DNF. I know, did Lewis DNF in Austria? Lewis has one DNF that was outside of his control, but it wasn't a race-winning DNF prior to that point. George Russell, on the other hand, at Spa-Francorchamps was underweight. He won that race. Maybe you might want to argue that he won that race as a function of his being underweight, but normalise for that, and you've got to put 25 points onto George Russell's 177 points or whatever. Or 170 points or something. I can't remember off the top of my dome. I should have these numbers off. But I do not. But yeah, I think you've got to normalise for a couple of different things to understand what's going on with Lewis, and it's... they've asked him about Franco. The rumour on the F1 curb, word on the F1 curb, of course, is that Carlos Sainz is going to find himself at Red Bull. Do you remember a couple of videos back I said that Carlos Sainz will have in his contract clauses, meaning that if a Red Bull opportunity or a Mercedes opportunity, a seat at either one of the aforementioned teams crops up, then Carlos Sainz will have the opportunity to null and void his Williams contract and join one of those two teams. Look, it's happening. What's George Russell? George, go and get yourself some. Heating, you chap. You can't be outside. What's going on here? 556. If you're watching concurrently, do me a favour and smash the like. It's going to get techie. Candidate says strategically, Lewis is giving his all. I would agree that Sir Lewis pushes too hard in qualifying. You know what it is, candidate. Let me give you a case in point on this. Do you remember Canada? You'd at least had 10 for George if he had followed conventional strat. Well, 25 points you've got to add to George's total, but for him being underweight. Safety car going out to see exactly how wet it is, but it's still raining. Candidate, all right, here's your case in point. Canada, there are certain tracks. I think, why is Michael Massey, is that Michael Massey as the safety car driver? So going to go and have a look, see how wet it is. Critical times, we're going to get an update. Estimated start qualifying date, they've pushed it back 25 minutes. T-minus 25 minutes. Thunder and lightning has stopped, says Ted Kravitz. We should get ourselves some qualifying. A monsoon qualifying in T-minus 25 minutes. Oh, the humanity. Remco, you're an absolute legend. Thank you. Far too kind, far too generous. So go on then, candidate, to your point. I think you've got to take each instance and each semblance of evidence on its own merits. Here's what I mean by that. Back in 2021, I'd always said that I'd never see Lewis, any driver, drive away from Lewis Hamilton around Silverstone, Canada, and there was another one, Kota. But Kota's a good track, but Silverstone in particular and Canada, Silverstone especially, Lewis Hamilton specialist tracks. When I saw in the sprint race, Max Verstappen, probably in a marginally quicker car, just drive away from Lewis. I was like, okay, hang on. I need to reassess everything for this Max Verstappen fella. Paradigm shift as a driver. Generational talent is what we're dealing with in Max Verstappen. Secondly, you parlay that into the tracks today, right? So as far as Lewis's tracks, Canada, Silverstone, not really going to beat him around that. You will recall in the race, so in qualifying, I was like, okay, so I know Houston, we have ourselves a problem as far as Sir Lewis Hamilton. If George out-qualifies him at Silverstone, if I recall correctly, I think George did out-qualify him at Silverstone. Similar at Canada, Lewis is God tier. There's no way in hell that George Russell can out-qualify Lewis Hamilton at Canada. Canada is his track. Canada's where I think he won his first. Like, you just don't out-qualify Lewis Hamilton in equal machinery. And then again, George Russell out-qualifies him at Canada. Why? Because Lewis was taking too much out of his tyres, and then final turn, 14, 15, the chicane at Canada, Wall of Champions settings. Lewis has a cheeky oversteery moment, doesn't he? Which means ultimately that George Russell out-qualifies him. So I just take those things, not necessarily as harbingers of the apocalypse, but I think those instances are worthy of note because of the tracks at which they happened. Beating Lewis Hamilton at qualifying in like Monaco, to be fair, he's pretty good around. But beating Lewis Hamilton at Barcelona, which has historically been a bit of an Achilles heel as far as a Lewis Hamilton track. Oh no, Ted Kravitz saying it doesn't look good. Oh no. 569 if you're watching concurrently. Hopefully we'll get ourselves some qualifying in T minus 25 minutes. Touch and go, says Ted. Not looking positive. Oh no, this is going to get rained off, isn't it? Science is from Red Bull family. It just makes sense. But does it make sense though? Does it make sense though? Chat. Oh no, tomorrow dead early for qualifying. Still wet, isn't it? Estimated qualifying start time T minus 23 minutes. Ted Kravitz says it doesn't look too pretty. Norris drove away from Verstappen at his home race in a marginally quicker car. So Norris, it was a generational drive, Rayan. Although I think I would argue that was more a function of the difference in machinery. That 30 seconds that Lando put on Max was a brilliant performance, but he had a brilliant car underneath him, didn't he? Safety car out on track, says James. Indeed. Science is fine. So Science at Red Bull, I think the issues for that, the reason why they didn't do it in the first instance, because they remembered that there was always friction first time round. This isn't Max and Carlos Sainz's first rodeo. In 2015-16, they were at the same car together. This is Max's first season in F1 was alongside Carlos Sainz Jr., you remember? It was, wasn't it? Carlos Sainz and Toro Rosso, and there was friction because Jos Verstappen wanted to get involved, and there was an instance at Monaco when they sent out, not dissimilar to Franco Colapinto last race, there was an instance at Monaco where they sent out Max Verstappen really, really late, and he didn't make it through. He didn't make it through to Q2 or something. And Jos lost his mind and said to Franz Tost and Dr. Helmut Marko, what are you doing? Why are they sending him out? Franz Tost's response to that challenge was that we act as a team, uniformly across the board. We do what's best for the team. Dr. Helmut Marko's response to the team was, what are you on about? This dude's a generation of driver and you're going to upset his father and have his father seek pastures anew. This makes no sense. What are you talking about? Franz Tost. Dr. Helmut Marko says, Franz Tost, don't listen to him. Race engineers, pit crew, listen to me. You know what I mean? And they started listening to him, and some of them made him get sacked. And then Dr. Helmut Marko went and found them new jobs. That's the truth. If there's no qualies, then no GP. No, Axel, you must be joking. I was talking to someone the other day about the extensive when Senna died at Tamburello San Marino in 1994. The extent to which Bernie Eccleston went. Look, if a driver dies at the track, Karan Chandler says potentially tomorrow morning. All right, so we're going to make a decision. 6:20 local time. The last time that they can run qualify. It's looking a bit techie. You're going to hear in David Croft's tone that he's not overly optimistic. Alonso looks a bit downtrodden. It's clearing, but the question is the rate. Yes, it's the rate at which the rain is clearing. I think they're going to struggle. Shame here. I wake up at 4:30. Oh no. To watch qualifying, it's rain delayed. You might want to shut your eyes again, MS, for a little bit. I think you've got time. Pretty bad are the conditions. Oh well, it is what it is. F1, the F1 gods giveth and they taketh away. Here we go. We're getting ourselves a cheeky intro. F1 intro music. If Collie scrapped... No. All right, so look. San Marino 94, I was telling a story and I did a weave, didn't I? In the words of Mr. Donald Trump. I did a weave, but I didn't come back. What is wrong with you, Cameron? Apple F1 Tech, you're a legend. That's right, this is not sabotage. He just doesn't have confidence. He tries too hard, and then when he gets decent results, he gets the results. This just takes a toll on the man. I don't disagree with you, Apple F1 Tech. You said it more succinctly and articulately, more eloquently than I ever could. I think Lucy's the type of driver that when he has a car underneath him, you get an extra like 30 or 40%. You know what I mean? He's almost impossible to beat. But you lose an equal and opposite when he doesn't have the car. Probably more. It's going to get techie. Okay, T minus 19 minutes. Maybe we get ourselves qualified. So miss this one, Cam. Will you do the morning? Oh no, Jeannie. Listen, if we hear, I'll try and wake up. I'll try and wake up. You know what I mean? It is still pouring hard, Daniel. Go on then. What was I going to tell you? 1994, the track, the year when Senna passed. The track was Imola or San Marino. The turn was Tamburello. Then, this isn't me breaking any news, by the way. If you read Adrian News book, he will tell you. Anybody that was there on the day will tell you this. If a driver dies at a track, then that's it, right? They quarantine all the cars. Becomes a crime scene. They call off the race. That's what's supposed to happen. Senna should have been pronounced dead at the track, but Dr. Sid Watkins, bless him, friend of Ayrton Senna, understood the assignment, and so they didn't say that he died at the track, and they put him in the helicopter, pretending as if he was somehow still alive, knowing that if they pronounced him dead at the track, then they would have to call off the race. Senna was dead at the track. He was. Everyone knew. Sid Watkins said that he could feel the time when Senna's spirit left his body and all this stuff. But they carted him off his dead body, as near as makes no difference. They carted him off to the hospital so that they couldn't cancel the San Marino Grand Prix that year. And those drivers raced around the track, not even knowing that Senna had passed. That's the truth of the story. I wish they'd used a chain go. Apple, that's right, not Sabotage. Sorry, I've read that already, Apple. You're far too kind, by the way. Axel said, I wish they'd used a chain. Oh my gosh. Fleetwood Mac. The chain. Axel, of course, referring to the fact that on BBC in the UK, the intro music used to be the chain. You know, when it goes ding do 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 do. That's always going to be for UK residents. Fleetwood Mac, the chain will always be synonymous with F1. Can't hear it, and I can't even play that song in the car because I start driving too fast and all sorts of silliness. Give them the feedback to make progress the car. Lewis made Mercedes a winning car. Russell doesn't have that talent because Lewis said I'm being sabotaged, so I'm not helping you progress the car. Maybe. It's a bit techie, that one, eh? Rayhan, don't Google Ayrton Senna 15. 15. I don't know what you're talking about there, Ryan. Okay, thank you, Benzi. You're a legend. What did Benzi say? I missed it. Kenzie, yeah, sorry, I'm not giving you. Yeah, it's still very wet. Oh my gosh, we just got a picture, Kayla, of it's draining. Oh, Karan Chandra doesn't want to admit the truth, does it? It looks like. Okay, looks like there might be a gap in the weather in T-minus 15 minutes time. There's a gap coming and hopefully we'll get some racing during that gap. All rookies better than Hamilton. F1 is a joke. Behave yourself, Cassius. Oh, is in the sprint race potentially. But that's what happens when you don't have a car, right? When you don't have a car, that can happen to you. 505 if you're in the track and currently do me a favour and smash yourselves a like as we endure a non-qualifying session, eh? No bueno. We'll get qualified. Oh, the safety car is back. Have a word, Ted. Have a word. Come on. Are we good to go? They're too safety conscious. They're not doing it. Are we good? Are we good, Ted? Go and put your microphone. Oh shoot, that looks like something's going on. Yeah, they look like that. Oh, not. Oh, Nils Richard says not now, not at the moment. We need to wait a few more minutes to see whether the weather abates. Oh no, come on. Please, we need some racing. What's going on? Right, so Nils Wittich has just come in. Safety car driver. They went out and tested it to see how wet or not wet it is. How safe or unsafe it is. And Nils Wittich, they're having conversations now in real time, saying that it's not possible just yet. That we're going to chill out 19 minutes, 20 minutes potentially. Oh no, there's no gap. Ted Kravitz is telling you, you've got no chance. 16:30 quality start, says Alonso. 30 minutes from now, Alonso, behave. Surely not. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, this ESPN no longer showing qualifying. Oh, no. So I've got to be your eyes and your ears. Okay. 30 minutes to start, says Sedan. Oh, no. 30 minutes. They're just going to keep pushing it back, aren't they, forever? Oh, no. This is poor. It's raining, but the Brazilian contingent are still in full force, you know what I mean? Full of throat, and I don't hate it. I'll be honest with you. I don't hate it. There's a bit of news that I'm trying to get. 468, if you're watching Kokoni, do me a favour, smash a like. Just new news. Breaking. Shall I break this or shall I... There is another storm brewing in the paddock. Red Bull suspects McLaren and a few other teams are filling water into the tyres to prevent them from overheating during the race. Oh, the humanity. You see this? We've got another story, chat. I'm going to read this out. AMUS, Toby Gruner reports trickery with the water. I'm going to read this out. I mean, we've got time, haven't we? It's not like anything's kicking off. After discussions with McLaren, after discussions about the McLaren rear wings mini DRS, wow, this time it's about water in the tyres. Water in the tyres? What are we doing? I know the rain and track is serious, Benz. It's not going anywhere. We'll chill out for a little while longer. T-minus 26 minutes hopefully. Oh, yeah, good shout as well. Lewis Hamilton's not going to get to drive 1990 McLaren MP4 of one Ayrton Senna. Unbelievable. Oh, well. Ping pong game, writes Toby Gruner of Auto Motorsport, between the world champion rivals continues. After the race, courtesy of Baku, Baxter of the Shakedown, by the way, put some respect on his name. After the race in Baku, Red Bull complained about a rear wing flap. Just get to the point, mate. Focus was on the mechanism there that activated the DRS. They were getting some additional gain from the DRS, weren't they, McLaren? The FIA declared the mechanism to be legal, but before every part firme, it sticks a seal over the adjusted screw, which can only be accessed with a tool. This is intended to remove the basis for allegations of fraud. Get to the point. FIA investigates the allegations. In Brazil, however, Red Bull was once again in the role of accuser. This time, it was about filling the tyres with water. The trick is supposed to help cool the tyres better from the inside over long distances. The water is supposed to be injected through the valves. Apparently, even small amounts achieve the desired effect. Several teams are said to be benefiting from this practice in the long run, including McLaren. What are they on about? Well, we talked about the symbiosis of this tech spec of car and these temperamental tyres. Overheat the tyres and your stint is finished. There is no putting that cage, that bird, in the caged... In the cage? What are you talking about? Come on. There's no putting that back in Pandora's box once it's gone. As far as the tyres. Gradation of tyres. The FIA is already investigating allegations. There were no suspicions. There were no suspicious observations at the last two races in Austin and Mexico. Pirelli would have to report the slightest irregularity to the FIA technical stewards. According to the Italian manufacturer, however, there has not been a single suspicious occurrence this year. Neither Pirelli nor the FIA want to comment officially on the case. Of course not. However, behind closed doors, it is said that the story is considered to be just another storm in a teacup. How does water get into the tyres? Interesting, eh? Interesting. Using water to cool the tyres from the inside. Bloody no. Can I mix Colapinto with Foster's for a diesel drink while I wait for it? Mate, you can do whatever you want, Challenger. Do you know what I mean? It's a free world. Red Bull conspiracy theory department. Red Bull is always the cheater. Bloody though. Wouldn't water in the tyres make the cars heavier? Of course it would, but sometimes there's favourable variance. Do you know what I mean? Favourable variance. Meant to be on bedtime duty here. Gonna get in trouble. I just want some qualifying, please. 585 of you watching concurrently. We're staying it. We're in it for the long haul, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? We're doing it for the thrill. Here for a good time, not necessarily the longest time. But you know what? I digress. I'm just trying to get information in real time to get ourselves a cheeky. Oh, everybody's going away, aren't they? People sacking this off. No, we're not sacking this off. We're staying. Safety car out again. I think this might get rained off, chat. I think it might be off, but you know, we'll stay to find out definitively. What I don't want to do is go away and then all of a sudden cars are out on track. That won't be good. That would not be good. Okay, Matt. So 23 minutes time, you're going to be happy, mate. Too much standing water, ain't there? 21 minutes, chat. Komatsu says it doesn't look great to me. It does look gloomy, doesn't it? Change. There won't be any qualifying. Track is not draining. No. Oh, come on. Let's go and wreck some cars. No, Macon. No, Macon. It's not looking good, is it? Everyone's going away. If it's only a small amount, it's not though, James. It's a lot of you're talking about putting the water in the tyres. And if it's a large amount of water, it would weigh kilograms, which in rotating mass is not at all what you'd want. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. There'll be big shunts on this weather. Teams don't want to risk it. Yeah, fair. But I mean, go on. Shall I become a grizzled F1 vet again for a second? Can I go in? What are these drivers getting paid for? Not to, listen, you always want it safe. Don't send them out if it's unsafe. But there is a theory that goes something like this. These drivers get hundreds of thousands of millions of pounds. Surely this is when they earn their corn, no? Or no? Am I being too harsh? Am I being... tell me if I'm being too harsh. Surely this is... I remember Monaco a couple of years ago. Do you remember when it all of a sudden started raining? We were like, well, let's go racing. And we're like, no, well, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. And we waited so long that they started on Inters. It's like, hang on. One of you guys in the chat was saying this earlier, right? It's a bit daft. Well, they'll set the grid on based upon sprint. Free practice times. Set on the sprint quali. 100%. Sprint classification or sprint quali if there's no... Oh yeah, it's looking bad, chat. It's looking bad. The weather radar is not good either. This is bad. It's looking quite bad, isn't it? These guys can't riff a day in their life. This is what I'm saying about their boring conversations, mate. You can't riff. I know that Alex Jackson will be killing this, or Alex Jakes even. Hang on. Still raining, chat. It's not abating. Brazil is one of those places where when the rain happens, there's no stopping it, eh? Concern chat. I don't think I think we're rained off. I think the elements have beaten us today. 436 of you. 563 of you watching concurrently. You guys are legends. For those of you who are just joining, T-minus 18 minutes until we get ourselves the message that potentially there's no qualifying. Ferrari, though, have set themselves up for this apparently. More downforce. So they anticipate to go well. I wouldn't put a cheeky mistake of the unforced variety past one modern day Jean lazy. Do you know what I mean? Let's go, Oscar. Damn, have they never seen Cam look so bored and have nothing to say? Kayla, I'm trying to suss out in real time what's going on. I'm watching. How good was Kubica? Very good. Or Kubica, depending on who you're talking to. Ted Kravitz going backstage. Ted on Bono's, I know, Cannondale Tika. Ted Kravitz doing his best to keep us interested, Dardin. Go on then, interrupt Bradley. They were looking at the weather radar. Can I? Wow. Oh no, more rain. We've got no chat. This chat is finished. Se acabó. Kaput. Rained off. Oh no. Bradley Lord, Mercedes team representative. It's just raining, isn't it? It's just raining. It's just raining. 4:45 delay. What are we doing? This is so long. All right, so T-minus 30 minutes and then we'll get ourselves a cheeky. See how they keep doing this? This is like it was the couple of years back, right? We'll let you know in half an hour, and then it was another half an hour, and then another half an hour, and it was just like... Does the radar look better? I don't know about that, James. I don't know about that. Tomorrow, Outlaw, how do you like your F1 now? Not very much, Outlaw. And the thing was so good. Like it was, the sprint. I knew the F1 gods giveth and then they taketh away. The F1 sprint was so good. It was so good. I paid for F1 viewing, but half the time I prefer watching Nishtan. Oh, Sadesh, you're a legend. An absolute legend. That warms my heart. When you guys say that you incorporate the channel and the content into your routine, and some of you say that you cancelled your Sky Sports and that you use me as your eyes and your ears, that really makes me very happy. That's Drizzle in the pit lane. James is saying Inters, send them out. Just goes to show that some of you fantastic YouTubers can easily outriff the TV pundits. Much prefer watching and listening to your present. Oh, you're a legend, Giovanni. Thank you so much. Listen, we do try. Again, we said at the outset, right, that not for me to be critical of a Crofty or a Martin Brundle or a Karun Chandak, but in my humble opinion, they lack themselves a bit of personality. What happens if it doesn't go ahead? Well, they'll either try and do tomorrow morning, depending on what the weather is there before the quali or before the race. What am I talking about? Bradley Lord says, wow, potentially a cheeky qualifying session before lunchtime. So stay tuned, eh? Or if there's no qualifying, then they're gonna have to use the sprint race result or the sprint quali. Wow. 16:45 quali start. Yeah, behave. 30 minutes. You see what they're doing here, Alonso? They keep on pushing it back by 30 minutes, and then when we get there, they'll push it back another 30 minutes. They're wary of of schedules, aren't they? T minus 30 minutes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, push it back another 30 minutes. We're going long here. I need to text my missus and tell her that I can't do bedtime. That's going to go down well. Go on, we are T minus 30 minutes or 28 minutes to be precise away from a qualifying session. Behave yourself, F1. Santa Claus is going to deliver my Christmas presents down the chimney as well this year. No, did you other man? No, instead of Skyfire. Walter, we're trying, you know what I mean? And again, we're going to have a conversation. We've got 30 minutes to have a conversation. Get all your techie questions in and we'll talk about it. They should go out now and wets and act like grown men, says Sim. You're an old school one, a die-hard vet. Sim, do you know what I mean? Sim, nope, but they keep postponing. Yeah, again, another 30 minus 30 minutes until qualifying potentially. Why would they not use points to set the field? No, points. No. Points in the championship make on. No, they couldn't do that. I don't like the idea there. I do not like that idea. Pushing back the times like in Spot. I know, and then all of a sudden. See, the problem, the problem, if I can talk. 566, if you're watching, could kindly do me a favour and smash a like. As we are, T minus 25 minutes. Maybe away from a cheeky qualifying session. In all probability, probably not though. Ginny says, anyone saying how the drivers are feeling? No, Ted Kravitz is just talking to Bradley Lord in the Mercedes garage. This is why I can't. It's Ted Kravitz really why I can't cancel. It's Ted Kravitz. Oh wow, Ted Kravitz looking to dial in Toto Wolff. Emil Heskey. I had F1 commentator channel that actually did that. What are we talking about here? I miss you guys. Cameron says, yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to start a pub quiz. I know, Emil. Go on, and should we get... Go on, we can get a pub quiz. Go on, let's do polls. We can do polls by... no looking, no Googling. Go on, let's get some pub quizzes out there. Go on then, you let me know who we're going to go champions. Who is your driver champion in? Go on, we've just been talking about it here, so you guys should all know this. And we'll do points. 1992 drivers champion, you tell me. Quick, first on that, and I'll keep score. And again, it's fastest finger first. 1992 champion. Any takers? Oh, no one knows. Look, you've all gone silent as you're Googling. 1992, yeah. Who was it? You guys are disappointing me now. Come on. No one knows who the driver's champion was in 1992. F1 is too soft nowadays. Apparently, we're too soft. Let's go, Visual. What are you talking about? Nigel Mansell is, of course, the answer. Let's go. Attic, you've made it again. Oh, jam sessions. You nearly got in there. So go on. That's 1 point to Visual. Visual holds the docket. Are we getting deep in? Go on, we're doing years. We're going through them. Go on then. Should we get techie? The next one's going to be more difficult. So rain is not ending this weekend. Buckets, maybe, Joseph. That's why we're occupying ourselves with the years of champions, eh? Go on then. Should we get a bit techier? Let's go further back, ladies and gents. Your driver champion in 1951 was... 1951. I bet Visual gets this as well. Genie, you got it. Indeed, it was Nigel Mansell. So we're going 1951 now. Your driver champion. Senna in 51. No way. I was late to the party. Delani, we're going in. 1951. Let me know your driver's champion. Currently, Visual's got one on the docket. Just never won it. Jack, I'm going to... Jack... Oh, the first one to type it, Stanley. It was indeed Fangio. Oh, go on then, Stanley. Stanley and Visual have got 1 point each since we're quizzing out here. 530 of you watching. We're quizzing, of course, while we wait for a cheekier qualifying session. Currently, it's rain soaked. So Visual's got one, Stanley's got one. It's Fanjo. And again, fastest fingers first. Oh, is it Ascar? You're making me question now. Shoot. Hang on, I'd know this. First, it was Farina. I think it was Farina. Oh shit, you're right. It's Ascari, isn't it? No, it's Farina, Ascari, and then it goes Fanjo. Oh no, I messed. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me double check it now. You guys have got me confused. I can normally do this in my sleep. I think it is Ascari twice, wasn't it? In 51 and 52. Let me double check. Oh, look at that. Do you hear Ollie Behrman talk about he's watching on the onboards of Max Verstappen? Wow. In 2016 at this same fixture. Go on. Right. Let's go. Let's go. No, it was Fanjo, you jokers. You guys are confusing me. So it was Fanjo in 51. I was right. You guys are confusing me. Okay, go on then. So I'm right. So Visual's got a point. Stanley's got a point. We are waiting for. Go on. We're quizzing now, and I'm gonna make sure that I get. Go on then. In 1961, who have you got? Yeah, 52 and 53, and then it was Fanjo all the way up until 57. But go on. You guys tell me 1961. Who was your driver's champion? I'm waiting. It's a tricky one, this. No Googles. No Googles. Yeah, 52, 53 was Ascari. I just looked up the rules. I set starting order. If it's the grid is set by championship order. Is it really? 61. 61, Jim Clark. Go on, you lot type in Hill, but you need to be more specific. Let's go, Shabam. Phil Hill is the correct answer. Shabam gets 1 point. Let's go. Let's go. We are quizzing now. You see what I've done there? Because 61 was Phil Hill and 1962 was Graham. Go on then. Since we're on Graham, tell me. Answers next year. Graham won the championship in 62, and when was the other year? We're riffing. 403 if you're watching concurrently, but we're what was the other year? So Graham Hill won 2 championships, 62 and so they're both Hills, but Phil Hill was 61 and 62 was Graham. 60 when was the other year that Graham Hill won? Since we're riffing. 403 of you still watching as we're quizzing. Yeah, Graham won in 62 and go on, you guys let me know. Quizmaster, no, we're riffing now. Let's go, Delaney. Let us go. Delaney says 68. Oh, goose, you nearly goosed. 66, no. Go on, and if we're talking, what else can we do? I'm trying to think of good quiz questions. $398 if you're watching. No, Jeannie, nearly. Who was 64? Go on then, Jeannie. Ask the question. Who was champion in 1964? So, 52, 64. Oh, I know 64. Go on then, 64. He's got 64 on them. I know 64. 64 was. Do you guys know 64? Don't look. 64 is hard though. I will rate no. 64 was not Clark. Let's go, Visual. With the 30s on the docket. Visual's just nailing this. Visual, this quiz was made for you, right? The weather is getting better. Behave yourself, living. Is that yeah, Jeannie. Clark was 63 and 65 from memory, I think. Oh no, Damon, doom and gloom, mister. Saying if it's like this tomorrow, then you're not going to get any racing, are you? Delani says John Surtees. You're right. I think Surtees is the only person to win a championship on 4 and 2 wheels. I think Visual's holding the red pen. Go on then, bloody Nora. 15 minutes remain. This is a bit long. This is 20 minutes. And the Brazilian crowd booing now. Jack Doohan on the mic. I feel like Jon Snow. I know nothing. Daniel, me and you both. I know nothing. Oh no, my little man's lost his mind. This reminds me of Canada 2011. Right, go on. Let's get some more trivia questions. Who was your champion in 1984? Fastest finger first. Bob. Okay, my little man has paused with the crying for now. Wasn't happy. My little man's got this obsession with taking things to bed. I want to take my car to bed, Dada. Let me take this to bed, Dada. No, I know. I'm sorry, Nisko. I had to pause because you would have. What you don't want to hear is a crying baby. No, I think the mic's not muted anymore. I muted it for a little bit. We can wait. Shubham, you're a legend. Yeah, bro, all good. Take care of the little one. I think Mama's got hold of him. As we are 15 minutes away from hopefully a qualifying session. But again, being a daddy isn't living on the edge. Mate. Understatement of the year, eh? Being a baby still cries less than... I don't know about that attic. Landa will have to go some to cry more than my little man. He's always crying. Show Cameron Jr. Let him join. Shall I let him on? I don't listen to him again. He's kicked off now. You don't want to see him when he's going on crazy. T-minus 30 minutes quali start. Behave. I don't believe it. We're going to stay. Yeah, Cameron Jr. He's secular reign, Sudesh. Here we go again. Can you hear him? Oh no. Feels like this will work out in Lando's favour potentially. Jeannie James got it again with I know source. Sorry, visual. You're looking to just extend your lead. Go on then if we're doing quizzes. Crime baby, you're good. We'll listen to Perez at the time. Shit. Go on then, quiz time. I'll do a couple more and then we'll start talking about F1 again. I'm trying to think of a really techie one. Go on then, let's go 1984. Who have you got? Who won the drive? For those of you who are just joining, we're just quizzing. We are riffing whilst we wait for F1 to pull their finger out and go racing, although it's very wet. Who won the championship in 1984? You guys let me know. I think this might be the clincher here. I agree with you, Nisco. You are right. He's in Lando mode, cries less than Max about Prey. You guys are joking. Movie share, Chris Medlin, another delay to 5 o'clock. 84 is louder, Genie, legend. Absolutely. So I probably said 84 again. All right. Sorry, we already did 84. 1975. Prost's first one was... Prosts were 85, 86, 85, 86, 89, and 93. Prosts. Off the top of my head. Rain has slowed down. Let's go, Rayhan. I'm here for it. Go on then. Positivity, Cameron. 1975 was not Stewart. There we go. 74. I'm going to have to check. Can you hear this again? What do we do? See, that sort of crying, he's just attention. There's nothing wrong with him at all. He's just Lance Strolling me. Ooh. Ooh. 19, what did we say? 1974? He's in 1975. So I said 75, didn't I? 75. Yeah, so 76 was the Hunt year. 75 was louder and 77 was louder. 84 was also louder. Lauder wasn't a bad peddler, you know. Very brave. I remember when I was younger, I thought Lauder was a bit of a quitter because you'd watch the films and the documentaries about how he parked it up in the final race at Suzuka. And then you realise he was like the bravest one of them all by virtue of his bloody nearly dying at the Nordschleife. The story at the Nordschleife. The chap, you're a legend. No, you're a legend, Hanny. Thank you so much. Fittipaldi. No. Yeah, Fittipaldi was 74 and 70. Oh, 73 was Stewart. 473 if you're watching concurrently. Hopefully in the next 25 minutes we'll get ourselves a cheeky qualifying session. My missus is about to undivorce me because she's been dealing with little man each and every single day. One day little man will get on camera again. He's been on camera before, but I'll get him on again when he's right, we're going to get a little Cameron Jr. action on potentially, so long as he's not going on crazy. So stay tuned. That's what you need to stay tuned for. A little bit of Cameron Jr. action, bless him, with his cheeky self. At least the people in Brazil are having fun. I know they're making the best out of him. Loved him. He was better than any superhero, Nicola. So go on then. If we're talking about Niki Lauda, there's a brilliant podcast called And Colossally That's History, I think. Matt Bishop. Check it out on Spotify. And in there, they've got a 60-minute episode where they're going to, because they're both hacks, journalists. They know all these nooks and crannies, these brilliant details that you won't get anywhere else. And Matt Bishop and Richard Williams go into like some detail on Niki Lauda, the year of his crash, right? So that's the 75 year when James Hunt ultimate, is it 75 or 76? I'm getting confused. 76. So all right, so Niki won in 75. And I'm talking about 76, the famous year when James Hunt won, and 76 is the year when ultimately Niki Lauda went and he stacked it into the Nordschleife. That year, the Nordschleife was like the most dangerous track, death track. So long meant if you crashed a car on a part of the circuit where there was no stewards, guaranteed death / serious injury. Niki Lauda stacked it, and again, debates as to how the accident was caused. Niki Lauda said it wasn't driver error, it's something that happened on the car. Yeeted it into a driver in front, I think, and it ended up in the barrier. At which point, obviously, it just feels like chaos at the moment. Can you hear the bloody alarm outside? What's going on? Halloween candy holding me all these days. I know, I need to get some candy go. So, God, I'll tell you this story about Niki Lauda as told by Matt Bishop of the Colossally That's History podcast with Richard Williams. Niki Lauda yeets it, the fuel cell detached and makes the car a blazing inferno. Niki Lauda, in his desperation, realised, okay, so it's game time, life or death time. I need to exit from the car. And in his frantic, sprawl, trying to exit, dismount the car, quick, desperately trying to escape himself. Another driver's trying to help him, but the two of them are like they say, if somebody's trying to drown, if somebody's drowning, then you go and help them. A vast majority of those times, the drowning person ends up drowning both themselves and the person trying to help them, right, in their restless stupor, almost in the mayhem and chaos. It's like, oh. And so similar with this, Niki Lauda desperately trying to extract himself from the car. He's struggling, and the guy trying to extract him is getting even more struggled in the burning inferno. The story goes something like this, that Niki Lauda in the madness goes unconscious, the fire and the chaos goes unconscious in the car. And then the driver trying to extract Niki Lauda's body from the burning wreckage says that that's when Niki Lauda's wrestling, as we're T-minus 5 minutes or T-minus 20 minutes away from a qualifying session, hopefully, as Niki Lauda's desperately trying to get himself, he can't do it because they're both wrestling each other, much like the person in the water drowning. So the guy who ultimately extracted Niki Lauda's body from the wreckage and saved him says that, but for Niki Lauda going unconscious, that they both would have been toast, potentially, definitely Niki, that there's no way they'd been able to extract his car from the wreckage. Niki Lauda was back in a car, burned. You see the Niki Lauda burns, bloody, the helmet's like wedged to his, all this other chaos. Niki Lauda's back in a car testing 40 days later, nearly died. Niki Lauda is an absolute that's why when you see Niki, like Mercedes, you understand the story in the background. It's like, mate, Niki Lauda was an uncommon man amongst uncommon men. Do you know what I mean? Techie, someone stealing a card radio. There, Cam. I don't know what you mean, Natty. I don't know what you mean. Let me know though, Daniel. Visual says really they'd start as their. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on at the moment. They need to sort it out. I want quali now. I've had enough. I want quali. What's your opinion on Peter Collins' 1956, where he was asked to give up his car? I know. And Fangio won the championship. The most selfless act. It's a different time, wasn't it? 8 p.m. So T-minus 20 minutes. Still raining too much. They're not going to go. I think this is going to get cancelled. It's a different time, wasn't it, French? A completely different time. A gentleman's game. I don't know if I'd give up my car for anyone. Even, you want me to be honest, even what Oscar did today, I don't know if I would have done that, if I'm honest. I probably would have just won the race. Don't even care. I can see the sunrise, still waiting. MSRS, you are an absolute legend. A proper diehard of an F1 fan. I'm telling you. Quali in T-minus 19 minutes. The crowd aren't going nowhere. They want to see some car. I feel like they owe them some running. Listen, if it's too dangerous, it's too dangerous and they can't do anything. But I feel like they do owe them. So, yeah, you remember, Genie? Blood-soaked balaclava stuck to his face on his first race. Heartbreaking, but so he was just different, wasn't he? Nicky Lauda got back in the car as if nothing had happened. He scarred still. Like, what are we doing? Wishing to see crashes. Do I need the loo? No, I'm all right. Sometimes when you gotta bake some flesh logistically into these things, eh? No, James, I do not need the loo. I do not. I'm all right for now. If I did, I'd have to run away, right? Wishing to see crashes, not me. Me Bashir, that was insane. The return of Nicky was next level. Merc without Lauda, that's when they declare. A lot of people have said, you're not the first person to say that. Do you know what I mean? That Nicky Lauda, the forthrightness of Nicky, they can't go in that. They can't go. Senna S's, there's too much wet. No, they can't do it. It's done. I think we're throwing in the towel, ladies and gents. They're not going to quali. Yeah, they're going to cancel it. Done. Qualifying's called off for day. I agree with Rayhan. It's gone, so it's done. 494 of you are legends, but I think we've been conquered. The elements have defeated us. It's been done. Yeah, 2003. Do you remember when Cameron? I do understand. Why can't they chuck? I don't understand. Why can't they chuck them on fullbacks and get on with it? Because they just. I mean, if you just saw the safety car couldn't even handle the Senna S's. It's yeah, they can't go. Yeah, they can't go. Look at them just riffing. Frederick Vasseur, guilty pleasure ice cream, favourite pastime skiing. If not in F1, would have been an ice cream producer. Frederick Vasseur's like, sunrise, bloody Nora MS, what are we doing? It's done, isn't it? We're going over 15 minutes. Hopefully we can get some Cameron Jr. action before we log off. Bring back the refuel, I think. Mubashir, again, you're not the first person that I've had say that. It was a good chat, though. No, I appreciate you, Mubashir. You guys are legends, man. Keeping me in the game. Movie Rush was good. It's a good movie, wasn't it? I still need to watch Grand Prix, the film. How dare I be an F1 fan and I haven't watched Grand Prix? And again, Matt Bishop and Richard Williams. Yeah, it's done. It's done. Far too wet. 520 of you watching currently. It's too wet. The light has beat us. Why are you flashing his light? Stop flashing your light. That car sounds incredible, isn't it? Yeah, it's done. It's done. We can call that a wrap, can't we? Oh, yeah. By the way, Rush, by the way, James and Lauda. Yeah. Did Hamilton end up? No, they couldn't do it. Too wet. The rain has defeated us on every count, unfortunately. And it's no sign of abating either. Well, that's a shame. Oh well. You see them trying to add some vavavoom to the stream now as it's closing. Looking at fun facts and all this other stuff. That's a waste of time, eh? That's a shame. So yeah, no quali, Delaney, sadly. It looks like it. The rain gods are angry at F1 FIA even for being so disingenuous. Look at the fans that have all come out for this. Can you imagine? You reckon F1 will issue them with refunds? Not a flipping chance. They didn't do it at Belgium that time. Do you remember? No chance. The F1 Liberty Media are like Dave Chappelle. Do you remember Dave Chappelle's joke? They started getting booed. We want our money back. Dave Chappelle was like, I didn't say this stuff would be good. You will never get your fudging money back. Qualifying's postponed. Done. Okay. Yeah, qualifying's going to be tomorrow. Wait, okay, there we go. It's postponed. No longer delayed. Ladies and gents, it's done. Have a chat with the team principals and sort it out. Hamilton is happy. Are you happy that there's no rain? Or happy that he can't drive the MP44? James Vowles' profile. They're really scraping the barrel here. This, let me tell you why. Remember what we talked about earlier on? Content creators and others who have a bit more swag. Like what you want to do, yeah. Look at James Vowles. He was suffering having the camera on him. So what you want to do here is get a Tomo on or an Aldas on to get some like bants and chatting there, right? Or a bloody Nasher from quick, like somebody, Peter on pole and Mahad. Get them in there so you can have some. The problem that you've got now is that you're vulnerable because Karun and Crofty don't have themselves enough vavoom or verve or personality to carry themselves for broadcast. Wherever the quiz, where's the chat? Where are Karun Chanduk's stories? Do you know what I mean? You imagine Windsor on here now. Get some stories about Mansell back in the day. Like, no, none of this. No quality till tomorrow. I think you're right, Quacksaurus. It's done. I could not even watch that dry Sky Sport. The line, it's a bit dry, isn't it? Drier than dry things. Boring. Do you know what I mean? The McLaren, but is that Lando getting out on Lando wants to go, doesn't he? Tomorrow, same weather. I know we've got a problem. This is Belgium of a couple of years ago, isn't it? Gutted. I feel like this is Gonzo. We want our money back. We want our money back. People, hear me. Hear me now. You will never get your money back. It's the joke. One of the best jokes. It always gets my missus. My missus is going to be fuming from having to do so much adulting. Hopefully we'll get as we close, as we round third base on this stream, since the racing gods have turned their back on us, the weather gods giveth and the weather gods taketh away, don't they? Outlaw, you're a legend. Back in the day, they would have gone racing. I miss the good old days of F1. They would have just gone, wouldn't they? But then I think it's very apropos that we're talking about Niki Lauda at Nordschleife. Sprint qualifying, I don't hate it. Sprint qualifying, now everyone's packing up. Yeah, the garage are taking the car apart. Oh no. So postpone, they adopt the positions of the other session. Sprint qualifying, crunch under. That would be the smartest one, right? Sprint qualifying, just use that. Although Max will be fuming at that. George Russell looks like he's wrapped up for the day. 500 of you watching concurrently, your legends. No official announcement. Yeah, it's going to be postponed. Everybody's wrapping up. People are dismantling the cars. George Russell jumps over to say hello to the crowd. Thank you for coming. I remember last time I was at Silverstone with a mate. We had a similar session to this, and we were like, you know, we're just going to bonsai. Come in, we paid £300 for this track day. If it's wet and we crash, then it's wet and we crash. But we'd no word from the FIA, of course. Though we know what's going to happen. The FIA have called it a wrap. Back in the day, they went commando rather than in diapers of today. I know it's a different era, isn't it? Different era. It's a shame this. It's quite looking forward to some quali. But it is what it is, ladies and gents. As one of my favourite fighters, he just got KO'd the other day by one Ilya Topuria. Maximilian Holloway. Max Holloway would say. Fun fact, Prost has more wins in Brazil than Senna. I saw that earlier on. 3 versus 2, I think. They'll probably use FP1. Yeah, I think they should use, if you want my opinion as we round third base on this stream, since there will be no qualifying, I would use, genuinely, I think I would use myself, sprint quali, right? Use that as a proxy. Qualifying session, done in the dry. The big question, though, on the docket is what will the weather look like tomorrow? Are we going to get ourselves another Belgium? No racing. Do a couple laps and then call it a day, just so that the fans can't say they didn't get their money's worth. Wouldn't surprise me. Right, you guys are legends. I'd hope for some Cameron Jr. action, but sounds like he's gone to bed. You know what? I'm going to call it. Prost has 6 wins around Brazil. What? I know Senna has 2. I saw the graphic earlier on. Blimey. Prost was quite good, wasn't he? Bad forecast. Oh no, style it. Here we go. Word from Stefano Domenicali. What's going on, chap? What's going on? Boo. Boo. Stefano says we can't control the weather. The fans are incredible. Are they incredible enough to give them their money back, Stefano? For the qualifying that wasn't. The not qualifying. Lewis says, this is ridiculous. I want to go out. Wow. A cheeky exchange between Lewis. You should have gone out. We wanted to go out. Give us get better wet tyres. And we would have gone out, says Lewis. Bloody no, right. He's joking there. Good night, folks. Except Johnny Herbert. Oof. Right, guys. That's it. I'm going to call it. Everybody's gone to bed. Cameron Jr.'s gone to bed. He doesn't want to come on camera because he knows there's not going to be any qualifying. Quick joke, actually. We were going through the drivers. It's like Lewis came up. I was like, son, who's that? He was like, Lewis Hamilton. Oscar came up. He was like, Oscar. Lando came up. He knows Lando. Max came up and he was like, Max Verstappen. I was like, oh, God. We have ourselves a Maximilian Verstappen fan in our midst. I wonder where he gets that from, probably his old man. You guys are legends. Listen, whenever we get qualifying, we'll be here 30 minutes before 9 o'clock local time. Whatever. Whenever qualifying is, we'll be here 30 minutes before it, riffing, rapping, talking, chewing the F1 fat as always, and be back again 30 minutes before the race. You guys have been legends. Thank you for putting up with the madness that is the not qualifying. What a bloody shame. The racing gods and the F1 and the weather gods conspired to defeat us on this occasion. But we'll be back, as always. Between now and next time, remember to look, but never stare.